Mostly. Mostly. The cable company is coming to set up our new internet connection. The cable company is coming to set up our new internet connection. I shouldn't play weekly. I shouldn't play weekly. Will not use. Will not use. 3. I like hot bread. 3. I like hot bread. Can you direct me to the safe? Can you direct me to the safe? I have to go to school. I have to go to school. Shouldn't you deny it? Shouldn't you deny it? Your grandparents were naturalists. Your grandparents were naturalists. Wouldn't he run after 4 days? Wouldn't he run after 4 days? His colleague was a businessman. His colleague was a businessman. Does it connect every month? Does it connect every month? They cannot mark 1 year later. They cannot mark 1 year later. Do you know any good places where you can take a walk? Do you know any good places where you can take a walk? Can't I be a filmmaker at sunset? Can't I be a filmmaker at sunset? Does not follow you. Does not follow you. You shouldn't do engineering every year. You shouldn't do engineering every year. I have a couple of oranges. I have a couple of oranges. Did they sing sometimes? Did they sing sometimes? 4 p.m. can ignore it. 4 p.m. can ignore it. Seamless. Seamless. Why are you wearing short jogging? Why are you wearing short jogging? Scientists will study the effects of climate change. Scientists will study the effects of climate change. Have I read? Have I read? I shouldn't complain. I shouldn't complain. My grandfather is the caretaker. My grandfather is the caretaker. They're throwing a party next weekend. They're throwing a party next weekend. Thank you for your recommendation. Thank you for your recommendation. Your grandmother was a lieutenant. Your grandmother was a lieutenant. They had lived in the same house for 20 years before they moved in. They had lived in the same house for 20 years before they moved in. You will come close. You will come close. My children were dermatologists. My children were dermatologists. How did you hit the ball? How did you hit the ball? Was her daughter the jury? Was her daughter the jury? Isn't she a shop assistant at Sunrise? Isn't she a shop assistant at Sunrise? They lived happily ever after. They lived happily ever after. Does not receive daily points. Does not receive daily points. I walk to work every day. I walk to work every day. I am likely to like honest and sincere people. I am likely to like honest and sincere people. Was his half-brother a travel agent? Was his half-brother a travel agent? I don't notice anything. I don't notice anything. You watch movies on Friday evenings. You watch movies on Friday evenings. I won't find out in 4 months. I won't find out in 4 months. Please avoid strenuous activities for the next few weeks. Please avoid strenuous activities for the next few weeks. I'll take the bus instead of driving. I'll take the bus instead of driving. Your stepmother is a lawyer. Your stepmother is a lawyer. Can't I be a missionary later? Can't I be a missionary later? Was his stepfather a shop assistant? Was his stepfather a shop assistant? They suggest. They suggest. Later in the morning they are not inspectors. Later in the morning they are not inspectors. But. Can he be a scavenger often? Can he be a scavenger often? You shouldn't make fun of others. You shouldn't make fun of others. We don't have much bandwidth. We don't have much bandwidth. Was not ignored. Was not ignored. Were his grandchildren agents? Were his grandchildren agents? Is his half-brother a fielder? Is his half-brother a fielder? Will there be 3 evening receptionists later? Will there be 3 evening receptionists later? Doesn't it fit every month? Doesn't it fit every month? I will not kiss at noon. I will not kiss at noon. We respond to 3 products. We respond to 3 products. Our daughter is a jeweler. Our daughter is a jeweler. I certainly cried when my father died. I certainly cried when my father died. The bus was very comfortable. The bus was very comfortable. I've been named Salesperson of the Month 3 times and won top sales awards several times. I've been named Salesperson of the Month 3 times and won top sales awards several times. I'm going to the post office to mail a package. I'm going to the post office to mail a package. Would lift it. Would lift it. I will use the food processor to make the cake. I will use the food processor to make the cake. We used to connect from time to time. We used to connect from time to time. I shouldn't touch. I shouldn't touch. Are we ecologist a century from now? Are we ecologist a century from now? Shouldn't be dealing with it. Shouldn't be dealing with it. Didn't tile before? Didn't tile before? Always introduced. Always introduced. Was his grandson a jeweler? Was his grandson a jeweler? Beach. Beach. I'm sorry I can't be with you. I'm sorry I can't be with you. I want to see your sister. I want to see your sister. I bought a book. I bought a book. Aren't they guests at dawn? Aren't they guests at dawn? Can he become a player after 5 days? Can he become a player after 5 days? We must not steer at dawn. We must not steer at dawn. Wasn't he an occasional musician? Wasn't he an occasional musician? Can't you draw? Can't you draw? Shouldn't you clown later at 2 a.m.? Shouldn't you clown later at 2 a.m.? Aren't we hiding? Aren't we hiding? Have they been taken before? Have they been taken before? Can be lost in 2 weeks. Can be lost in 2 weeks. The consultant will be available to talk to you when you need it. The consultant will be available to talk to you when you need it. Except for the vertical main banner, all other banner types are ready to use. Except for the vertical main banner, all other banner types are ready to use. I will go to bed early tonight. I will go to bed early tonight. Does it show up every year? Does it show up every year? I could have commanded earlier at 4 a.m. I could have commanded earlier at 4 a.m. Point out. Point out. Did you care a minute ago? Did you care a minute ago? What time does the lesson start? What time does the lesson start? Isn't he normally a foreman? Isn't he normally a foreman? That taxi driver. That taxi driver. Was her grandmother a songwriter? Was her grandmother a songwriter? His spirit is good. His spirit is good. Should not do internship after 1 day. Should not do internship after 1 day. You must destroy it after 5 nights. You must destroy it after 5 nights. They can't hit. They can't hit. Can you recommend a good brand of dish soap? Can you recommend a good brand of dish soap? Can it load 10 years? Can it load 10 years? Shouldn't they imply next year? Shouldn't they imply next year? Rolled over. Rolled over. I love you. I love you. His neighbor was a welder. His neighbor was a welder. Are my cousins stockbrokers? Are my cousins stockbrokers? Is your spouse a physicist? Is your spouse a physicist? You have breakfast every morning. You have breakfast every morning. Are our grandparents boxers? Are our grandparents boxers? Doesn't it pass? Doesn't it pass? Will we not save? Will we not save? Couldn't she get dressed? Couldn't she get dressed? Can be technician every year. Can be technician every year. You can carry. You can carry. Wouldn't I be a golfer sometimes? Wouldn't I be a golfer sometimes? Then I assume. Then I assume. You've never been an esthetician before. You've never been an esthetician before. How far is it to the nearest bus stop? How far is it to the nearest bus stop? I'm going to the park to walk my dog. I'm going to the park to walk my dog. Had he worked harder, he could have won the race. Had he worked harder, he could have won the race. His grandson was a sailor. His grandson was a sailor. My other sister, Nicole, works as a branch manager at a large bank. My other sister, Nicole, works as a branch manager at a large bank. I am going to school. I am going to school. You cannot be doing this. You cannot be doing this. Sometimes they have to agree. Sometimes they have to agree. Jim, I'm here for you to believe, you know that. I don't judge you. Jim, I'm here for you to believe, you know that. I don't judge you. Also, Annie had a cold. Also, Annie had a cold. I want you to stay here. I want you to stay here. We write. We write. Didn't you just declare war? Didn't you just declare war? I was so sick that I couldn't stay awake. I was so sick that I couldn't stay awake. Happy. Happy. We should meet. We should meet. I'll take you for a follow-up scan in a few days. I'll take you for a follow-up scan in a few days. How do you work? How do you work? You cannot do this. You cannot do this. Let me take a look at this for you. Let me take a look at this for you. I have a lot of faith. I have a lot of faith. We can't eat. We can't eat. My wife is a carpenter. My wife is a carpenter. I am a student and want to improve my grades. I am a student and want to improve my grades. Shouldn't we stretch back a century? Shouldn't we stretch back a century? Will not be selected every week. Will not be selected every week. You should not interrupt others when they are speaking. You should not interrupt others when they are speaking. Didn't you wake up at 2 a.m. before? Didn't you wake up at 2 a.m. before? Are you in this class? Are you in this class? Covering. Covering. Basketball players will practice shooting for hours. Basketball players will practice shooting for hours. How long will I need to stay in the hospital? How long will I need to stay in the hospital? Which is your favorite waterfall? Which is your favorite waterfall? Should mention. Should mention. Are her siblings interpreters? Are her siblings interpreters? I just want you to be careful. I just want you to be careful. I shouldn't say 1 second later. I shouldn't say 1 second later. Are you the monthly warrior? Are you the monthly warrior? You can analyze. You can analyze. Should it be weekly? Should it be weekly? Shouldn't you give permission? Shouldn't you give permission? Should they borrow every week? Should they borrow every week? They should develop normally. They should develop normally. Carefully. Carefully. I started working for this company a year ago. I started working for this company a year ago. Should not be approached immediately. Should not be approached immediately. May I help you? May I help you? Wasn't he a watchman every year? Wasn't he a watchman every year? Can you help me find the bread aisle? Can you help me find the bread aisle? After the storm passed, we were able to detect the damage. After the storm passed, we were able to detect the damage. He could not have been more polite during our conversation. He could not have been more polite during our conversation. They never started. They never started. Shave. Shave. Doesn't she remember? Doesn't she remember? Beneficiary. Beneficiary. I'm going to the ski resort. I'm going to the ski resort. Should I not review? Should I not review? Won't I be retiring soon? Won't I be retiring soon? Where do you find it? Where do you find it? You didn't say diary. You didn't say diary. I have plans and goals. I have plans and goals. Can I hide? Can I hide? I couldn't stay in jail at noon. I couldn't stay in jail at noon. Announced. Announced. Can't you understand soon? Can't you understand soon? Didn't it take 10 years? Didn't it take 10 years? Should it burn 10 years? Should it burn 10 years? Subtract. Subtract. We've seen that movie before. We've seen that movie before. One, I will have sex. One, I will have sex. We can manage normally. We can manage normally. I'm going to the grocery store to buy some milk. I'm going to the grocery store to buy some milk. Did I call 10 years? Did I call 10 years? Who will clean this up? Who will clean this up? Can fly immediately. Can fly immediately. Don't they get it after 4 years? Don't they get it after 4 years? What kind of support do you give to our project? What kind of support do you give to our project? Prepositional verb. Prepositional verb. Can you help me with this heavy box? Can you help me with this heavy box? Drama club is putting on a play about a duck trying to find its way home. Drama club is putting on a play about a duck trying to find its way home. Can I use this? Can I use this? Ceiling fan making a strange noise. Ceiling fan making a strange noise. Was her husband a midwife? Was her husband a midwife? I will be the most famous person in the world. I will be the most famous person in the world. I have zero patience. I have zero patience. Can we get a positive result? Can we get a positive result? I thought you might need help. I thought you might need help. To leave. To leave. Will they not insist? Will they not insist? Should he be a geologist? Should he be a geologist? I saw a man. I saw a man. Can I listen to music? Can I listen to music? Does he want it now? Does he want it now? May not be analyzed annually. May not be analyzed annually. Can clean. Can clean. Someone is following me. Someone is following me. It is difficult to decide what to wear to the party. It is difficult to decide what to wear to the party. Can leave every day. Can leave every day. Also avoid kicking the backrest of the seat in front of you or using it to help you stand up. Also avoid kicking the backrest of the seat in front of you or using it to help you stand up. The situation is beyond repair. The situation is beyond repair. Can't blame the yearbook? Can't blame the yearbook? We have guests in the gym. We have guests in the gym. Not everyone agreed with the proposal. Not everyone agreed with the proposal. Do they get points often? Do they get points often? The house is beyond criticism. The house is beyond criticism. I have a meeting with Mr. Smith tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I have a meeting with Mr. Smith tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. In 10 years I will be going back to school to do my PhD. In 10 years I will be going back to school to do my PhD. I accuse you of cheating. I accuse you of cheating. Are you ready? Are you ready? I serve monthly. I serve monthly. Please guide me. Please guide me. I'm in the bedroom. I'm in the bedroom. Today. Today. I'm in the room with 3 showers. I'm in the room with 3 showers. I'm not sure if what you're saying is true. I'm not sure if what you're saying is true. They can break at night. They can break at night. His stepfather is the manager. His stepfather is the manager. The car broke down on the highway. The car broke down on the highway. Civil rights are important to all citizens. Civil rights are important to all citizens. Was my mother-in-law a singer? Was my mother-in-law a singer? I'm going to the beach this weekend. I'm going to the beach this weekend. Someone is following me. Someone is following me. Are our cousins founders? Are our cousins founders? He could sing. He could sing. Are we there every month? Are we there every month? Is our spouse a locksmith? Is our spouse a locksmith? Are their relatives nurses? Are their relatives nurses? Our location is convenient and easy to find. Our location is convenient and easy to find. They shout every hour. They shout every hour.